Okay guys, so my next step here is I've got everything marked out now. As you can see, there's the hole for my blind nut plate right there. So basically this is the passenger side. I'll cut that hole right there and this will fit in there like that, and then we'll end up tacking and welding that onto there. For the other side, you can see right here where I need to cut out to allow for this blind nut to go in there, because it needs to sit flat like this, and it needs to go forward, but I can't do that because that metal's in the way. So I cut that out, and then we'll put that in place, and that will also allow me to weld that in. And then for the plumbing, this is that channel plate I was telling you about. So I've already got the length that I want to make it, and I'm going to have it, I think, stick down just a little bit. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'll find out here soon enough, but nonetheless, you can see where I marked it. I basically marked where the actual plumbing and piping was. There we go with that darkness again, it seems like. So anyway, gonna take and cut out those lines. I'll go over the other side. I don't know why this camera has a problem with adjusting to the light, but anyway, you can definitely see here I've got it marked out there. I'll end up cutting out that motor mount hole. So see, this is one of the reasons why I've decided that I'm going to have a whole different mounting, engine mounting location, or setup rather, I guess. Because if I use the factory system, you can see right there I've already lost the ability to use my factory mounting brackets with motor mounts and whatnot. At least in my setup. I don't know if this changes when we use a different car, if the frames are different, or you know, because these things are unibodies and they were all tack welded together, etc. I have no idea how close they are to being precisely the same from car to car to car. But anyway, that's where that's going to go. And then of course, this whole thing here will just fit right up in there like that when I get it all done. But of course, it'll be recessed in there. And that's going to allow for the plumbing. So, there we go. Now I'm going to fire up the plasma machine down here and make my cuts. Then I'll get the welder out and go ahead and bolt it back up using the lower control arm mounting locations, and then we'll tack in those plates. Okay, I'm back here and I've got all the holes cut and everything. Over here on the passenger side, you can see how this blind nut plate is sitting flat on the bottom of the frame rail there. I cut a hole in there and dropped it down inside there. Then over here on the driver's side, you can't really see underneath here, and I'll show you after I remove it basically, but I actually did get that nut area cut away, and this allowed this thing here to sit flat on the frame area. And here on the driver's side, as you can see, this plate is actually sitting up against touching this. I don't know if that is how it's going to be on yours, but that's how it's doing on mine to make this nice and straight and, you know, square with everything else that's on the brackets and whatnot. So basically what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to make sure that this is all nice and flat here and go ahead and tack it in several places and then unbolt this thing. Basically, I did not remove these U-clamps here. So these are all in the same location as they were last time. So basically, once I put these eccentric bolts through on the lower control arms, it put the rack right exactly back in the same place. And again, when I look at that sticker, it is exactly in the middle to that divot right there in that pan. And then I will also do the same thing right here. I will make sure that this is nice and flat, and I'll go ahead and tack this. And then when I get all that tacked, I'll go ahead and remove this rack once again, leaving the locating plates or the mounting plates in, and then I'll go ahead and weld them up. So I will show you that in the next segment. next step. Alright, we're back again. I got everything welded up. I did a little bit more than what I really needed to do, but nonetheless, it's all welded in now. I wanted to show you from the top first. You can see that channel iron that they gave you, that's where it goes, is right there. So basically you put the channel iron right there in that frame piece right there so that it will avoid, you know, these pipes right here. That's the whole purpose of that channel iron. And you can see how I put it right inside there, and it, you know, it makes it to where everything clears really nice. So I think we got it all under control. And then you can also see right here where that blind nut is on that plate, and you can see where that bolt comes through on the bottom side there for the rack and pinion bracket right there. And when it comes through there, you gotta have, again, you know, a little cutout right here, so that way that blind nut can sit right there. And actually that bolt in there, it doesn't seem too bad, but it does kind of touch that right there. I guess I could cut it up a little higher, but I got it to a point where it's like just barely touching. So I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna run that bolt in, tighten it down, and think of it as a locking nut, you might say. When it rubs up against that metal like that, it's not going anywhere. So, but again, I wanted to show you the blind nut on that plate there and the cutout that you make, and I wanted to show you the channel iron and how it goes in there and why it's there for this plate right here. Okay, so the next step, I'll show you the other side.